Olumide, how was your week? I was going to ask what your Saturday looks like, but we can see already.
When you started with the beans and the pap, just to go back to secondary school for those of us that went to boarding.
I mean, I did too.
That was
That was your fixed Saturday morning bar, Saturday morning meal, akara
your
and pap.
weekend companion.
And such a nice combination. I mean, bread and pap too, I think is a lovely combination. But some people find it, are you one of the people that find it weird?
Wait, you dip the bread in pap?
Yes, or anyone you like. You start combining it. Why do people think that is strange? I think bread and pap is very, very normal, and a lot of people think it's strange. Please comment on Twitter if you think bread and pap is normal or you're hearing it for the first time. Please, if you've not tried it, can't try it. At Nigeria Info FM. All of a sudden, I don't look like the person here anymore.
Like somebody returned on you, I don't know.
Nah, you are missing bread and pap. Try it and let me know what you think. Alright, let's go to the conversation for today. We're concluding the topic that has been going on the show for the past 2 weekends, past 2 Saturdays specifically on parents. Let's talk parents. It's part 3, the concluding part. Maybe it will come up again sometime in the future, but for now, the concluding part will be taken today. If I may ask, Olumide, why does this topic deserve 3 Saturdays of 2 hours each? That's roughly 6 hours or less to discuss this.
Well, when we started, I knew it was something you cannot go through in one Saturday because it is such a big issue. Everybody has parents, so there is no there are no different sets of people. Some with parents, some without. Everybody has parents, so it makes it a topic for everybody, and we cannot. And the response has been very, 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 very crazy. It's like I just opened a can of worms, and the messages, the phone calls, and it's something we will conclude today. But to everyone, let them know how. Because soon is either you are in it or you are preparing to go into it, but God bless those who have good parents.
Well, yeah, priceless indeed. I don't see
It's
anything
priceless.
that I enjoy me and mine. Okay, so today we're concluding. What have we not touched on that we need to touch on again? Or are there areas that you want to re-emphasize?
Yes, not areas to re-emphasize.
Brand new areas. Okay, please shed some light.
Thank you everybody for waking up as always to listen to us. It's not easy, but we thank God that you are here. Today will be the third and concluding discussion we would have on parents, at least for now, according to we began this journey on the premise of our statistics that 39% of cases involving toxic marriages, separations, and divorces have had some form of parental influence as the cause of the breakup of the marriage or breakdown. 9% by fathers-in-law and 30% by mothers-in-law. So mothers-in-law mostly have been a major cause of the breakdown of children's marriages in statistic. You cannot imagine the tons of messages and phone calls I have gotten on parents being the cause of their marital breakdown. Those that are still there, those that are having thoughts of how to just get rid of this mother-in-law family once and for all. One amazing gentleman, the amazing story, called me and told me that his mother-in-law has always dictated the actions and reactions of his wife. One memorable day was when the mother-in-law called that she wanted to catch some air in Lagos, so she would be coming to his house. He had no problem, of course, until a day or so after she came, and the night the wife just told him that her younger brother will be getting married, he knows, and tomorrow the fiancé will be bringing her parents for an introduction in their house. And he was like, introduction in whose house tomorrow? He said his house. So he got to know that her younger brother, there would be an introduction in his house the night before, and that was why the mother-in-law came. So he said in his 2-bedroom apartment, and nobody told him. He then approached the mother-in-law. He was very upset that how can you come for this, you planned this in my house and you did not tell me? And she said she thought her wife would have told, his wife would have told him. And he said, you said you wanted to catch some air in Lagos. That's why you called me and said you wanted to catch some air. You didn't tell me that. The mother-in-law said, anyway, it's too late to change the venue now, so we'll have to have this discussion after the introduction tomorrow. Some, it is when the family or, some member of the family comes over that then the wife doesn't know how to cook, or the husband is lazy, or, there is some form of issue that, ordinarily they were doing fine until along came a parent or a sibling. I would expand the scope not only to parents, but siblings or uncles or, those cultural authority figure. Another case I heard is where the younger brother is the one that tells the older sister what happens in the marriage. The man said, how can the younger brother, who he is 8 years older than, be telling his wife what to do? Because the younger brother is maybe the most successful in their family, so no decision can be made without him. He's the one that would tell the wife, and then saying something, and the wife will tell him she will get back to him, and only after she has discussed with her brother or her mother would anything be able to happen. A lot of interference, decisions made over the head of the bride or groom or the husband or the wife. People just making decisions over your head, and you find yourself a passenger in your own marriage, a visitor in your own marriage. Please, ladies and gentlemen, before you marry, find out the thought process of your spouse. Are they controlled by Bluetooth? That means they have to pair their brains, their decisions with that of a family, culture, religion, before they can make up their minds, where they cannot think but have their minds made up for them. Please run from such people. I would want to quote something from the good book, Genesis 2:24, which is the creed of marriage. It says, for this reason shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and these two shall become one flesh. If the man cannot leave his father or mother, or the woman cannot be, by virtue of who she is, raised detached to the wife, you see that the Bible here mentioned only the man leaving to cleave. Why not mention the woman? Because a woman, by virtue of being a woman, is already raised to be detached to the husband. Why? Because when she gets married, she changes her name, she moves from her, so she's already, by virtue of being a woman, raised to detach. Everybody knows she would not bear the name of her father, she would be her father's name. So a woman is already raised to be detached. But when you marry a woman who is still connected by Bluetooth to the family, or a man who is still connected either to family, to sibling, to religion, to an uncle, or to a friend. We have people that friends have been the issue. I have a very, very dear friend of mine whose wife's friend is the one who tells the wife what to do.
Interesting.
The one with who has left father or mother, who has left all to be a man or a woman, and start a family based on what they have been taught. Mothers and fathers, leave your children alone. Leave their marriage alone. Let them make their mistakes. You ought to have trained them before marriage, not after marriage. You will now move in with them. The fact that you are interfering means you have failed to raise them in the first place. A gentleman called me, it was just amazing. He said he's been married for close to a decade. And after marriage, his sister-in-law moved into the house, and she has been living with them for almost a decade now. She's in her mid-30s. But he can't tell her to leave because she doesn't want to offend the mother-in-law. How is it in your two-bedroom flat? You have, that is even very dangerous. You know, it is very dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've had cases where a sister coming to do NYC gets pregnant for the sister's husband. Now you have a woman there also staying as what? What is she staying as? And he's so uncomfortable because he can't do a lot of things with her in the house. It's just a 2-bedroom flat. Let there be a limit. When you cannot decide, or you are afraid because you don't want to get on the other side of a person, so you sit down and begin to endure hardship because of the interference of a sibling, that you yourself can't tell your sibling, auntie, the 10 years, are we married together or something? Shouldn't you be?
I mean, it's common sense. We don't even need to.
You don't need to tell you.
Need their space for those first few months or years. I mean, it goes without saying. It goes without saying.
Okay. Now, that is for parental interference on the normal scale. Now, I want to talk about parental interference during domestic violence and abuse. So the first part is those that interfere. They want to make decisions. Now, parents, siblings, or elders, family members, or religious leaders who have some form of control, authority over a spouse, either husband or wife. The authority is either by culture, tradition, or religion, who watch their children being abused by their partners and always tell them to go back. Parents who, without their advice, the child would have left the abusive marriage, but the parents keep telling them to go back, or their leaders, their uncles, their aunties, their siblings, or their religious leaders. Parents who can stand and watch their children being beaten, battered, and slaughtered emotionally, psychologically, financially, that supervise the abuse of their children. They are there seeing everything but telling you to go back. This is called secondary abuse. They interfere in the rescue of their children from abuse. They keep saying, there was one that was telling me, what would her group say, that it would only be her, that the child has come back, from the husband's house, in her group. Whose group is more important than the life of the child, or whose church or whose family, they keep saying, in our, where we come from, in our lineage. And I wonder how far they know about their lineage. Do they know how many?
Even though upon still, like, so what?
It is funny when you have parents and siblings who supervise the suffering and affliction of their children in marriage. The good book says marriage is honorable. That is one thing that marriage is. Not compulsory, but honorable. But when it now brings you dishonor, and some people are supervising your dishonor, it has become secondary abuse. So we call them the secondary abusers. So what now happens? Should you also obey your secondary abusers? The slave masters, people who walk hand in hand with your affliction and your pain and send you back to slavery, these are not parents or elders, brothers or sisters. They are saboteurs. They are people that are known as secondary abusers, who would supervise that you compromise your life in an abusive marriage. These are also parents and people in authority over you that will send you back. Listen, if God does not want you to think, he will not give you a brain. If God wanted others to think for you, then he will give some people brains and others just ears, eyes, and mouths, so that you can conduct only the basic instincts of life, that is hearing, seeing, and eating. But the fact that God gave everybody a brain means that God wants everyone to have the ability to think. And this is the problem. A lion would smell danger from afar, especially in bushfires. You cannot catch a wild animal easily because they sense danger, and what do? They run. It is only in humans that they would philosophize danger, that there is a danger from God, that is, God is sending you one danger in the form of abuse, or that there is a danger from the tradition, that tradition is keeping you in one danger. You cannot even catch a lizard waiting for a bushfire. You see birds flying. Before the danger has actually gotten to your place, you would have known there was something wrong because of the animals that are in your vicinity. You will see all of them running.
Even sea creatures, they sense the vibrations of earthquakes before they happen.
And they move. But how come that it is in animals with the highest form of thinking, the capacity for creation and thought, that will remain in danger? You cannot approach a chick when a hen is around. You cannot. Have you tried it? The hen begins to swell as if it is, it's becoming bigger in size, and it charges at you. But here we have parents that will see their children in danger, which is, you see, the only function of a parent after marriage, number one, is not that of a referee. If you look at the football match, you see the referee running after the ball, after the players. The referee is also running in the pitch. Parents have become a coach. They are not in the pitch with you. They are on the sidelines. When a problem is now bigger than you now go to them. But not that they come into your pitch, into your football match, they start running with you as you. No, that is not the function of a parent. After marriage, the function of a parent is for the safety of their child. Not for the decisions of their child, but for their safety. Because when a mother hen is around, it is safety from hawks, from any imminent threat. But anybody that will send you back to your abuser is a secondary abuser. So what do? Do you honor a secondary abuser? No. Those are whom you would dishonor their advice. So this is the problem. You have a brain, and the brain is meant to think for you. Anyone that sends you back into harm's way, back into danger, is your enemy and not your parent. It's not a pastor, not a sister, not an uncle. A man called me. This hit me in another way. A man called me about 2 days ago and told me how aggressive his wife is, and how they had to fight one night like that the police were involved. Both of them were taken to the station and eventually discharged that it is a family issue. So they came back from the police station and slept in 2 different rooms. They had already called their pastor a day before that. They were in the police station, and early in the morning it was their pastor that woke them up, and came out. And all of them sat in the parlor, and as they were talking, the wife excused herself and went to the kitchen. So he was still talking with the pastor, and she came back with a hot pot of water and poured on him right in the presence of the pastor. His skin, of course, what happened. His face, his skin, and then they rushed him to the hospital. And during the course of treatment in the hospital, while he was yet to be discharged, the pastor came to him and said, well, she's sorry, it is the work of the devil, you should go back home. She has apologized that you should go back. While still in the hospital, not recovered from that. You see, that is a secondary abuser. People that, while you have not even recovered, you have not been discharged, you are still in the hospital bed. They are now telling you. Then he said he has an older sister who is also a pastor that flies in, that all she does preach and tell him to go back. I said, so what did you do? He said, I went back. At that point, I just, entered my room. I closed the door. My wife was telling me that it's like I'm getting more irritable now she says it's like I'm raising. It's more like I raise my voice, and she had just told me that in the morning. And how do you went back to what? To a woman who poured water hot water on you in the presence of your pastor, and the same pastor who witnessed everything while you were in the hospital is telling you that it is the work of the devil, so you return to the devil. Do you understand? And that was not only the pastor but his sister. Everybody was just in his head. They took pictures, and they insisted that all the pictures must be deleted.
Why are they trying to hide the evidence?
So it will be as if nothing happened. Do you understand? He said he would have sent pictures, but he had deleted that. They deleted all the pictures. All the pictures that is to show that you forgive and forget. The issue about forgetting is that when you forget, then you are bound to repeat the same mistakes. Can you imagine? You go this way, you fall into a ditch, you forgive and forget the ditch. Won't you go back? If you remember that there was a ditch there, would that not change your course? But people just think forgive, forget. I don't understand that, because even God has not forgotten Lucifer. He prepared a place where they say hellfire and all that. Should God just forget that there was a rebellion in heaven and then release the enemy, Lucifer, unleash him on his creation, or bring him back to heaven so that he can start another? When God is leading by example, that you should be able to identify problems. You are now saying forget the problems, just forgive and forget. I don't understand where that saying even originated from. These people are secondary abusers, people that will send you back into your problem, people that will send you back into insecurity. They will not sleep with you in that house, will send you back to okay, that was one. Another gentle when you say gentleman, you say is a gentlewoman now. I don't want to use lady, I want to use someone very meek. One, okay.
Let's just use lady for lack of it.
I would formulate something. A lady was in an abusive marriage as well. She called. She said she should stay. She was always saying that. So she was told that whenever anything, that she should lock herself up. The guy broke the door, so she went to the balcony, that at least everybody would see her in the balcony. This man pushed her from a 2-story building down. She landed and broke her shoulder bone, broke her arm. And right there, the mother, when she was still in POP at the orthopedic hospital, was saying, that the devil is a liar. Her own mother said that the devil is a liar. Onye has been lamenting since the commercial break. Very few times I've seen her like this. Anyway.
It's 99.3 Nigeria Relationship 360. My name is Onyinyechi Ekumakama, and Olumide Kayode Omoshiri is here with me. We're discussing parents on the show this morning. It's the third consecutive Saturday we're discussing this, concluding it this morning on the amount of influence, negative and positive, I guess, mostly negative, that parents seem to have on relationships and marriages of their children, and by extension, not just parents, people with who stand in the parental role, or maybe even siblings, aunties and uncles. But before we go ahead, just a little bit to lighting up the conversation just a little bit. At the beginning of the show, a little after 7 a.m., Olumide and I were having a conversation about Saturday morning breakfasts, particularly akara and pap and ugi, and I said bread and pap is a meal, and he was shocked, and I'm sure some of you are, and I asked you to comment on Twitter. Thank you so much at Chine_Ege. Chine_Ege says bread and ugi with milk is bae. People that don't dig it were born in this century, or the older ones are ajepako. I don't even know born in this century, so now ajepako you be. And Asawa_Crystal says, Only and the law, good morning to you. Bread and pepper soup is also a good combo. Try it. Well, I've heard of that before. They say the bread douses the pepper in the pepper soup. But funny enough, I can't do that. I can't do bread and pepper soup. I don't think I okay, no, I have. No, but not bread and pepper soup. But anyways, let's come back to the issue on the ground while I allow the round off a few minutes so I can get to your phone calls. Please go ahead. You were telling us a story of a lady who was
pushed down, and then her mother was telling her that the devil is the one attacking her marriage and not her husband that she should go back because the devil is a liar. Right there with the broken shoulder. She spent 3 months. The older you get, the slower your bones get to join them. So she spent 3 months right there. And 3 months, the mother was, telling her that, it's the devil, he's sorry, you go back. Being pushed down from a second floor could have ended her life. And that did not even occur to the mother. You see,
that was not a slap on her
anybody
face,
that will send you, I'm telling you, anybody, whatever position they occupy, parental, uncle, sibling, religious, that will push you back into harm's way, is not your friend, but your enemy at that time. Do you understand? They are called secondary abusers. So please be careful. Like I told you, God gave you a brain so that you would think. And remember, you are the one that will suffer the consequence of their decision, not of your own decision. So if people are not wearing your shoes, how can they be telling you how to tie the laces? How can people that are not going through, when they tell you to go back into harm's way, they go back into their homes that do not know the kind of abuse that you are going through? So please, that is the other alteration to the story of parents. People that, or siblings, or whoever is in authority, either religious, cultural, or traditional in your life, that will send you or interfere with your getting help in times of trouble, is not the voice to listen to at that time. It is dishonor that they are looking for, that they are prophesying, or whatever message they are bringing. Let me quickly end it there. 22:24 Genesis says, "For this reason a man shall leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and these two shall become one flesh." Not one spirit, one flesh. If you are with someone who has not left father or mother or sibling or tradition or religion, that it is those that dictate his thought process, so that you do not end up miserable. Please find someone who has a brain and is using it, who can think, who can decide. Now I want to quickly branch on to something. We've ended that now. Why laughest thou?
Because people are, commenting on Twitter on food. Let me just take them real quick before we get back to the relationship discourse. At Babalala_Abdul says, "Morning, I used to think Barrister Napako, so he doesn't know how fantastic the combination of pap and bread is. That's one of the best things that's happened to humanity. Just take bread and use pap to flush it down. It makes sense, but Jesse, I spoke that
I'm
Yoruba
going to take it.
Says, "Oh yeah, you too like food, nice job."
I will take it today and I'll come back next week.
Interesting. Successful Sunky says bread and pap is a good combination. At Heidi J says bread or milk is the real deal. And Martin at Chukudera says Nigeria Info FM has listeners who eat bread and pepper soup. Fix it, Lord. Chukudera is crying, but let's not digress. Let's get back. Thank you so much for your feedback and your comments on that, people. We still have some relationship comments, which I will get to at more legging and see your comment. I'll read it shortly.
Yes, I remember that there was one very important one that I almost forgot. In parental interference, a man sent me a message. He said he got married first week of April.
Is that a new marriage?
Yes. Until today, the father of the bride has not allowed her move in with him. Since they got married, they just did the wedding and the vows, that he has still been in his house and he's still waiting for his bride, because the father has. Why did you allow her marry if you were not going to release her? These things are totally absurd, but let us quickly leave that. Now I want to talk about something that is beginning to annoy and get to the other side of me. A lot of cases we are handling would now be that in the abuse and the violence, let us call the parents of the victim. And then the parents of the victim will tell you that, well, they are not really married because the gentleman did not pay dowry. did not pay bride price. And I'm like, so why are you referring to yourselves as husband and wife? Well, I just got pregnant and, I moved in with him. He promised to pay my bride price. And, how is it that you move in and start living as man and wife to a person who has not ordinarily paid your bride price? Now, a bride price is a sum of money or quantity of goods given to the bride's family by the groom. It is an expression of the love of a husband for his wife. And to the parents, it is honor. It is a reward for the parents. Now, you don't do that, and then the woman moves in with you simply because she got pregnant. Yes, you got pregnant. In some cultures, like the Igbos, I hear that once a person is pregnant, you don't pay bride price over the person. Something like that. I heard that, I've seen that a lot. But whatever, you must do the necessary rites over a woman. And if you're a woman living with a man who has not come to your family to ask for you formally, and done the, that number one, the law does not even cover you because you are not husband and wife. So if there is a case of abuse, you are just like a woman that came into, you are not married. So what relief would you be? Do you want to get the relief of those that are married? Then number two, you have not even honored your parents. You have not honored your home. And the man did not work for you. The man did not. It was like he walked, picked up a newspaper on the road and threw it inside the house. How do you expect him to value what he did not or does not honor? There's so many now. You just, okay, let's get the father. The father will come. The lady would say that they've been married for 7 years and the father will be quiet. I would say, Daddy, why are you quiet now? They said, well, as far as he's concerned, this gentleman has not paid the dowry. The daughter just moved in with the man that they were pregnant. He came one time, said they were coming, and that was it till today. 7 years after, and 3 children after. But, women, you have a problem. When it is dishonor to your family and to yourself, where, let me tell you something, when you don't have value, you are not given any respect. When a man has not paid your bride price, now there's a difference between bride price and dowry that people keep mixing it up. Bride price is a sum of money or quantity of goods given to the bride's family by that of the groom. A dowry is an amount of property or money brought by the bride to her husband's house. The bride price is from the groom to the wife. Dowry is from the wife to the groom. And dowry is not in our own culture here. It is more Western. That is why the law protects women over there because of dowry. The woman brought property into the marriage, so she cannot leave empty-handed. But over here, it is bride price, which is from groom to, and you do not even honor your parents. The marriage it's not even a marriage. The union, the partnership is not honorable. And how do you expect a man to respect what he did not work for? How will you respect what you did not work for? It is absurd. Then you call somebody like me that you are suffering domestic abuse. You are just being assaulted because you went to sit down with a man. There was a case last month that the father was just seeing the man for the first time. The wife had been with him his daughter had been with him for 8 years. The man did not even visit the family. And now you are beaten, battered, stripped. When we got to the yard, everybody there had seen the lady naked because the man will beat her, strip her naked and push her out of the house. You have no covering. Where do you want to go to? Your parents, when your parents don't even know who you are with? You dishonor yourself. You dishonor your own self. You place no value on yourself. You place no value at the offspring of that marriage, because the offsprings of that marriage do not have, you want to call them in-laws? How are they in-laws when you are not married?
It's the fact that the person has such effrontery and audacity, and you're not even, even when you are properly married, there's no reason to misbehave behave.
That
And
one,
then you're not even.
you know, the man paid nothing on you. You just, and there are some that even give the man the dowry to be the bride price to pray. That will be for another day. That and the fact that this is the second one, and I will speak for 1 minute and I will be quiet. Those that also marry people they never dated. They were just introduced by somebody, and then they sat down, they spoke, they agreed, and they got married. I wonder what kind of contractual negotiation or what kind of agreement you go to share the rest of your life with someone you don't know. It is absolutely ridiculous for you to be with someone you will call husband or wife that you do not know anything about their character. You are marrying a total stranger. So things you ought to have seen while you were dating, you will now see in marriage. Meanwhile, it will be too late to draw back. People that, as a gentleman who paid the issue paying me because the family said, we are the ones that will choose this woman for you. We are going to choose, and somebody chose. The aunt has a store, a lady who comes to buy because she sees the lady as a good girl in the neighborhood, and I said, this one you will marry my brother, he's in Obodo Ibo, and that was just it, because she comes to buy things from you. That's all. And because she's respectful, you now link them up. The man now comes, he doesn't even date, but trusts in the trust in the instinct and the decisions of the aunt, and then you get married. When they now started having issues, he will wake up, the woman has packed the children and gone. For weeks he'll be looking all over Lagos. Then after some time she will come back. He will come back. Now she's gone. He has not seen them in 2 years, going up and down. They went to the village. Now the chief in their village, the chief of the village, now said, would you serve? How will you marry someone you did not come to this village? We would have told you they don't marry into their family.
So
that was where he broke down. That they were wondering who will marry, who is this man, and he has been coming. The chief was frustrated that, please don't come. How did you even marry without coming to the village to even ask about the family you are marrying into? The husband, the person that married their mother, ran away. Because this woman is, and you married the daughter that the woman has been there, nobody is going to marry from that family. Please, they should stop disturbing them. How can you marry people that you have no idea? You just met, you were introduced by somebody. I told you last year, I have a younger brother who met his wife 3 days to the wedding. They were doing long, they just saw. As in, you want to be with someone, you want to marry someone, you don't even know what they smell like. You don't know what their odor is like. You don't know what their mood is like. It is absolutely ridiculous that you will not date a person. Dating is getting to know the character of a person. How is it possible you will not do that? But say, well, they have gone to their, they've gone to their family. They say they are from a good family. What is that?
So therefore, that doesn't automatically make you a good person.
What is it? They say another one. She's from my village. Please, I want to even look at the definition of a village, ladies and gentlemen, so that we understand what a village is. A village is a group of houses and associated buildings larger than a hamlet and smaller than a town, situated in a rural area. So that is the reason you marry somebody, because of a place that is situated in a rural area. Does location determine quality? Does it determine character? Because you are from the same place, does that mean that everybody in your place, once they mention that is from your place, they can borrow them money because people from that place are so loyal, faithful? When your marriage is about to location, where somebody is from, and we are from the same town, you are from the same village, does that make them good people? Don't you have conflicts in that village? I don't understand. And this is beginning to be a big problem. It is coming up. And I thought, we are from the same town, we are from the same. What is that supposed to mean in the scope of things? Is character by virtue of location? If a lizard boards a plane in Nigeria and lands in the US, it is still a lizard that will come out. A lizard will not board a plane in Nigeria and then in America a crocodile will come out. You are a lizard here, you will be a lizard there. The only thing is probably the weather there is colder. That is the only thing that will change, and the economy. So when you are saying because of someone's location, because they are from here, because they are from this town, because they are from your village, it means because they are from the same village. It is absolutely ridiculous. And this, I just end my I rest my case.
It's a great time to do that because we have a lot of interaction coming in via our different platforms, including Twitter. I'm sure WhatsApp is buzzing as well. I see my phone lines ringing. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to Relationship 360 on 99.3 Nigeria Info. My name is Oniche Komakama, and here with me is Olude Kende. We'll be discussing parents, the influence of parents in children's relationships. If you'd like to join the conversation, you can do that on various platforms. You can send us a tweet at NigeriaInfoFM, at NigeriaInfoFM. You can call us. We have a couple of numbers for you to do that on. The first is 0700 993 993 993 0700 993 993 993, and for the females 01465 7190. That's 01465 7190. Send us a WhatsApp message as well.
Someone just sent a message that the reason ladies who do not wait for the man to do the right thing is because they are overaged and they are not getting suitors. So that the man will not leave them, they quickly move in, get pregnant because of age. I always tell people, you know how old I was when I got married? 42. I got married at 42 years of age, and I did not die. Isn't it better to be single and have peace of mind than to be running up and down, being beaten, bruised, and battered, not valued because of age? Whoever will marry will marry. If you do not marry, your life is not determined by your marriage. It is who you are. Let's go to this.
Let me start with Twitter at Babalola. Okay, I read that already. At One Leg In, yes, I promise I'd read your comment. Says that his sister went through hell when she had her first child. Her husband decided to bring his mom over while in the hospital, and he asked his sister, that's his wife, to vacate the hospital bed for his mother to sleep. This is a woman who just gave birth, and she obliged. And she allowed his mother to sleep on the hospital bed, not until when one of the nurses of that hospital came and corrected the abnormality. She had to vacate, and the shameless mother-in-law slept comfortably on the hospital bed. Where stuff is happening. You're very right. One leg in. At I am Mr. Carlos says, I think the man that his wife poured hot water on is a lazy man. Maybe it's the woman that is feeding him. If not, why stay in such a place? She will kill him.
No, not at all. Not at all. That would be one of the first thoughts. But when I saw he does very well.
All right, let's take some calls before I head over to WhatsApp and then just go around this. Apologies, and just go around the platform. 99.3. You have 1 minute when you call. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
You're welcome. This is Joy, yes?
Joy.
Yes, welcome,
Yes.
Joy.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Madam Joy.
Good morning.
God bless you, sir.
Amen.
So you have 1 minute, please.
No, darling. It's so about one Sunday like this. Pastor just said, those who have not paid dowry for their wives, let all of them get up. The whole church finished now. And again, it's not old women that run into marriage now without dowry. Small girls, they run into boys' house. Before you know, they have 3 children, 4 children. I'm even dealing with one now. I said, why are you giving birth to children and putting them under a curse? Go and pay dowry for that woman. Where did you get that woman? Is she a prostitute that don't move into your house like that without knowing the parents, nothing? And she has pinned you down with 2 children now. If you don't want to marry her, you have the opportunity to send her away. You begin to complain that because of the children. I said because of who? To find a way and take care of those children.
Thank you, Joy.
So rampant, not the elderly women.
Thank you, Joy. I'm sorry, I had to cut you off.